Hi, it's Pip Mackay here, and it's day 3 of my quest for the Holy Grail. And I'm here in a little town called Rennes de la Chateau, and it's got this incredible view all the way down the mountain and these beautiful buildings. And the whole thing here, there's a book called Holy Blood, Holy Grail, on which the Da Vinci Code was based. And it was all based around this area here and what was discovered here. So basically this priest called Saunier, who came to this village in 1885, was absolutely in absolute poverty and very poverty stricken. And he came here and the church was completely in disrepair. He couldn't even stay in the diocese because it was just in such terrible condition. And so he ended up staying with a woman in the village. And anyway, he managed to get a small bequeath from the church to do up the roof and do some of the pavings. And when he did that, he uplifted a stone on which there were knights and various other things. And apparently then he dug down and found these skulls of knights and dug further down and ended up finding a stairway right down and a treasure. And this treasure made him absolutely fabulously wealthy. They think that by the time he finished all his building works, he repaired the church. He did it up in the most extraordinary way with statues, and then he built this building here that you can see down there, which he ended up living in the absolute lap of luxury. And this here, but obviously the whole thing was completely secret. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful things about the myth because nobody's been able to find the stairway or find the treasure since. He also dug up the graveyard, and he actually took some some inscriptions off some of the tombstones, which possibly led to the Holy Grail too. He also uncovered some documents, some parchments as well, and people think that maybe those parchments had on it the identity of Christ in a very different way than what is normally accepted, and perhaps his marriage to Mary Magdalene. So who knows? But what the nature of the treasure is, nobody knows. But it's quite clear that he came into a huge amount of wealth. He then went on many journeys and trips around, obviously selling that treasure. There's various gifts of sovereigns and stuff that was given to various masons and people in the village too. So there's quite a lot of evidence. But by the end of the time that he was here, he'd spent around about 15 million francs. So considering that the normal wage of someone in this area who was quite wealthy was like 40,000 francs a year at that time. It was a massive, massive fortune that he had. So there's no doubt that he found some form of treasure. But what was the nature of that treasure, and what was the nature of the documents that he had that were encoded and inscripted? And how does that all relate to the Holy Grail, if at all? Or maybe he just found some treasure from the Knights or the Knights Templar, who, obviously were burying treasure here because there was a lot of religious wars. Or maybe he found some Cathar treasure. Anyway, we don't know, and that's all part of the journey and part of the mystery of being here. So I'm going to go now and take you to the church.